The countdown to the finals Grand Major in Stockholm, Sweden is now underway, and we have just confirmed all of our teams that you'll be seeing live on stage. Hey guys, it's Sam from the Finals Central, and today I'm going to be breaking down the finals Grand Majors EU and NA Closed Qualifiers, so that you can know what to expect in November. So this past weekend was both the EU and NA Closed Qualifiers for the finals' first ever official tournament, dubbed the Grand Major. In case you aren't familiar, Embark Studios, the studio behind the finals, is hosting their first ever in-person tournament live from DreamHack Stockholm in November. This past weekend, 32 teams battled it out for 13 tickets to qualify for the major, with EU being allocated 6 tickets and NA allocated 7. Among those 32 teams consist some names of notoriety, both in team name and the players. You've got organizations like Team Secret, Alliance, Envy, Space Station, Nightmare, and Kansas City Pioneers, and notable names like Akazo, Zuki, Ploparn, Grad, Normalize, Lamp, and Busy, to name a few. The finals esports scene is in a very interesting space in terms of teams, especially when it comes to orgs that have signed official rosters. Several esports organizations have entered the scene, picking up successful teams mostly from PHL Season 1. We won't dive into PHL in this video, but check out our previous video, Is the Finals Ready for Esports, for more information on the existing competitive scene. Of all the signed teams that competed this weekend, 7 of them qualified. Those teams are made up of the following: Envy, who picked up Team Bricked from PHL, which consisted of Busy on Heavy, STN2K on Medium, and StuJ on Light. Space Station Gaming picking up the most dominant team in PHL Season 1, Team Ed, consisting of Lamp on Heavy, Normalize on Medium, and Graduating on Light. Nightmare signed Team Refine, which consisted of Gremlin, Lasagna, and Uni. Alliance side The Goats, that was their old team name. Palma, Treason, and Carnifex, and also our first official coach, Young. Team Secret signed the Aimer Squad, OG, Elix, and Roma, and our second coach, Artie. Vanguard Gaming consisting of Drax, Executor, and Arpika. Finally, the Kansas City Pioneers picked up Team Retwist, which was made up by Llama, Brendy, and Spawns. Now, for the record, I'm writing this a few days after the NA qualifiers have completed. I'm sure that there's some other unsigned teams that have now been signed by the time you're watching this, so an early congrats to all of them. Closed qualifiers was an amazing and grueling experience at the same time, as some teams competed for over 12 hours to punch their ticket to Stockholm. Let's get the quick qualifications out of the way first. For the following teams, their path to victory was to place in the top 2 of a cash-out match, and then win a best-of-3 final round series. The first team to qualify for the major for either region was QDL, consisting of Nolix, Taikyu Joe, and Pakulim. QDL had a pretty dominant performance, finishing in the top 2 of their cash-out match, sending Pulsar and Tweakers to the lower bracket cash-out match, and then winning 2-0 over 5 Fears to secure their spot to the major. The next team to qualify was Beamers, sending Team Secret and Emerald Grinders down to the lower bracket, and winning 2-1 in a close match against Sign Esports, the former Saints 1 PHL team. Beamers consist of Nagos, Nigiri, and Renka. Following the Beamers series was Alliance, qualifying with what looked like the most dominant cash-out game of the day so far. Alliance went on to face against the Gooblins, a Goo-Gun team consisting of Alphonse, Aimpoint, and Ecto, which were sent to the Phase 2 after Alliance had a dominant 2-0 win in their final round matches. Gorillas and Team AFK were sent to the lower bracket. The final team to qualify during the upper bracket was Vanguard, consisting of Drax, Executor, and Arpika. They faced off against Books and won 2-0. Citadel Gaming and Wingit were sent to the lower bracket. Now, you probably heard me mention 2 different places teams went if they did not qualify in the first round of matches, lower bracket or Phase 2. The closed qualifiers had 2 phases to it, where if you did not qualify for the major in your upper bracket matches, you then fought for basically qualification to Phase 2. Don't make it Phase 2, your major dreams are done and you are eliminated. If you were watching the main broadcast, you may have noticed that we jumped from qualification matches immediately to elimination matches. And if you look at the bracket, you'll notice that we didn't watch any more cash out. That is because the first cash out match was played while the last qualification matches took place. There's a really important story that happened during this match though, and that's that Pulsar Esports was unfortunately sent to an elimination game as they did not make the top 2 in the cash out match. This means that Pulsar Esports would need to win their next best of 3, or else they were out of the major. Unfortunately, this was the case as they lose 2-1 against Emerald Grinders. This means Pulsar Esports are the first team to be eliminated from the major, which is really a gut punch to a lot of the finals esports fans. One story to know before we continue is that a telco on Pulsar Esports actually has a twin brother Elix over on Team Secret. And good news, Team Secret managed to secure their spot to the second phase of closed qualifiers. The rest of the bracket was pretty quick. Gorillas knock out Team AFK by going 2-0, and we finally have our sudden death cash-out match lined up to determine who goes to phase 2 and who goes home. Emerald Grinders and Tweakers make it out, and we said goodbye to Gorillas and Citadel Gaming. Okay, I know that was a lot, and this took like 6 hours to get through on day 1, and we are really only halfway there. I'm going to move through phase 2 a bit quicker, as it's a bit more familiar. Phase 2 was really a gauntlet of cash-out and final round matches, whittling away 6 of the 8 remaining teams to find out what 2 teams finally punched their tickets. The phase started out with the teams split into 2 cash-out games. The top 2 teams from the cash-out games moved on to another best-of-3 final round series, and the winner of those best-of-3s then played in a final best-of-3 series to determine who qualifies. Okay, Tweakers and Team Secret won Group 1, and Goblins and Emerald Grinders won Group 2. Team Secret beat Tweakers, and Emerald Grinders beat Goblins. Finally, Team Secret beat Emerald Grinders 2-0 and punched their ticket to Sweden. It was honestly sweet to see and know that one of the brothers was making it to Sweden.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Oh, and speaking of Elix, he managed to qualify all while having severe food poisoning, which is just insane. On the elimination side, teams progressed through cash-out and final round matches. We said goodbye to Sign Esports, Wing It, Tweakers, Goblins, and 5 Fears. Finally, we had our last best-of-3 series for the day, and our last ticket to Sweden was on the line. Emerald Grinders and Books Esports were going to face off and determine who stays and who goes. And after 11 hours of games with a decisive 2-0 victory, Alone in Paris, Balbabo, and Donkrage of Emerald Grinders finally punched their ticket to the major and closed us out for the EU Closed Qualifier. NA Qualifiers started off strong with our first group containing one of the favorites from the region, Envy. After a very clean cash-out match and a 2-0 victory over 6-foot underdogs in the final round series, Envy punched their ticket to Stockholm.
Let's go, boys! We're going to Sweden, baby! We're going to Sweden! We're going to Sweden! Oh my god!
Next up was an upset that we were not expecting, and that was Nightmare not progressing to the early final round stage. Instead, they were sent to lower bracket, and 4th party Cashbox secured their spot in Sweden after beating Steppers in a close 2-1 series. A quick note, major shout out to Brutal Logic of 4th party Cashbox, as he was one of the first people to join our Discord. Link in the bio, by the way. In Group 3, another upset occurred as Space Station and Ape Squad's own Ape Aura got sent to the lower bracket after a controversial matchup against TSG and No Hours. The controversy comes from specifically TSG, an off-meta team that made a name for themselves after running Goo Gun and Smokes and placing top 2 in the cash-out match after dropping only 2 eliminations and doubling Vaults 3 and 4. TSG would not be successful in their qualification match though, as they lost 2-0 against No Hours, meaning we will see No Hours in Sweden and TSG in Phase 2. In Group 4, we had a pretty loaded group with signed team Kansas City Pioneers, another signed team FYR Strays containing Slothy, T-Mills, and Varian, 1UP led by the master Goo Gunner himself, Akazo, and the 3F Kateers. After a very close match, KCP and 1UP move on to the qualification match, while FYR Strays and the 3F Kateers move on to the lower bracket. KCP punched their ticket in a pretty dominant 2-0 victory over 1UP. Moving into the lower bracket of Phase 1, our first group had Young Guns, a new fan favorite featuring Ruby Labubu, also known as Meowthum on Sledge, Via with Belize, Nightmare, and Demo. Nightmare and Via move on to their Phase 2 qualification match, where Nightmare squeak out a nanosecond victory over Via, sending Via to the sudden death cash-out match.
Wait, what?
In our second group, Space Station Gaming found success along with Abora as they move into their Phase 2 qualification match. SSG make it through to Phase 2 after winning 2-1 against Ape Aura, who will now find themselves in the sudden death cash out as well. Moving into the elimination matches, Sledge fans rejoiced as Young Guns won 2-0 over Demo to progress to the sudden death cash out match and send Demo home as the first team eliminated from NA. In our second elimination match, FYR Strays also won pretty simply with a 2-0 victory, shutting the door to the 3F Kateers' major dreams. Finally, we had our sudden death cash out match where only 2 teams will get to make it to Phase 2, and 2 teams will be eliminated. The match was very close with some seriously clutch plays. Ultimately, Young Guns and FYR Strays keep their dreams alive, while sending Via and Ape Aura packing. Moving into Phase 2, we had 2 cash-out groups. If you make top 2 in the cash-out, you play a best-of-3 final round series. Win that, and you're going to Sweden. Group 1 was made up of the 6-foot underdogs, Steppers, Nightmare, and FYR Strays. In a pretty expected manner, Nightmare and FYR Strays made it through to their qualification match. After a really close series with a clutch play out of Uni, Nightmare secured their spot at the major, winning 2-1. Group 2 was an interesting group as it had TSG and 1UP each running Goo Gun in the cash-out match. Alongside them was Spacestation Gaming and Young Guns. To everyone's genuine surprise, TSG and 1UP made it through, while SSG and Young Guns were sent to the elimination cash-out match. TSG, made up of Ricardo, Noose, and Hani, winded up winning very dominantly against 1UP by going 2-0 and secured their slot for Sweden. Next up was another elimination cash-out, where finally we saw some success out of Spacestation Gaming. During this match, we said goodbye to the 6-foot underdogs and the Steppers, as Spacestation Gaming and Young Guns would progress to the next elimination final round matches. Spacestation Gaming seemed to have been reborn with a new fury as they slammed the door for FYR Strays in a 2-0 victory. Young Guns also had an exciting series against 1UP. Ruby Labubu had 1UP honestly shaken as we saw a Kazo swap from heavy to medium in map 2, which was completely unexpected at this stage in the qualifier. Unfortunately, we did say goodbye to 1UP as they fall 2-0 against Young Guns. Finally, we had our last matches of the day, which is the only series where one team qualified and one team was eliminated. After a really exciting series to end the day, Spacestation Gaming eliminates Young Guns 2-0. Just watch this clip to see how exciting this series was.
Holy shit, get the defib on point. Defib on point.
Tiger going to the steal here, but behind this group.
Oh my god, they're gonna fucking do it.
1 HP, he has to go for the stop.
No, dude.
Does he have the witch? The witch lands.
Oh my god. Oh, they had it, bro. They had it.
Finally, after over 21 hours of the finals gameplay, we know who our 16 teams are that we will be watching in Sweden. As a recap, we have from EU, QDL, Beamers, Alliance, Vanguard Gaming, Team Secret, and Emerald Grinders. From NA, we have Envy, 4th Party Cashbox, No Hours, Kansas City Pioneers, Nightmare, TSG, and Space Station Gaming. Finally, from APAC, we have DRG, Kingzone, and the Final Descendants. We did not get to see any of the APAC games as they were hosted by Nexon and went through a completely different qualification process. We are excited to watch those teams for the first time in Sweden. Overall, the closed qualifiers were a great success. We had a blast watch partying each game, and a personal shout out to our friends Young and Waltz for jumping on the watch party to keep us company during the long streams. Also, major shout out to Embark for allowing us to watch party these matches as part of the Embark Creator Program. Overall, we gave out 11 multi-buck codes and 2 Season 8 Battle Pass codes during our broadcast. If you want some more in-depth knowledge about the matches and the closed qualifiers, stay tuned as we will be kicking off Season 3 of our podcast, Around the Arena, talking about everything exciting and dramatic from the event. If you're wondering what to check out during this gap between closed quals and the major, check out Pro Ups Season 2, the premier grassroots league where you can watch a lot of these qualified teams. We will be playing their advertisement at the end of this video. We of course will be watch partying all of NA, and we will watch EU on Saturdays. Finally, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're planning on going to the major, let us know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to like and subscribe. If you love the finals, join our Discord of over 420 members. The link will be in the description. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you at the major.
That's 2 from graduating. He's done it. He's finding success in the middle of this furball. Absolute calamity from this.
The winch is going to stall it, and he's done it. He's done it.
Unbelievable from OG. Carries the team. How has Carnifex gone away with that? He even gets the second.